Welcome, we're back. Baruch Hashem. We didn't have a class on Thursday because some of you decided to go on a trip. But today, Baruch Hashem, we're back and we should have a full week of classes. Im Yirtzeh Hashem. Except for tomorrow. I just remembered. I'm not here tomorrow. It's okay. But you'll have class, don't worry. So, how does the Kadosh Baruch Hu manage the world in terms of human beings? So he says in chapter 5 that if you think of a baby, so once he's created, he's in a place that is very protected, that he won't have to deal with heat or cold. He won't have shortages of food. Obviously, you could say, well, what if the mother's starving? No, but in normal conditions, a baby develops in the mother's womb fully protected. He's protected from the elements. You agree with that? There's no draft. He doesn't have to right? Stays the same, very, very warm temperature. He gets all his nourishments from his mother. He's allowed to grow. He's got enough space to grow and to turn around until he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, once he has the ability, the strength to nurse, then he is born and the baby can start feeding itself through the mother, through breastfeeding. Right? It's miraculous that this happens. I mean, there are some animals in the animal kingdom that just abandon their babies and just leave them alone and they can survive. But for human babies, they can't survive. How long do you think a human baby requires parents? 18 years. Some of you are past that age and you're still hanging on to mother and for dear life. So at some point you got to understand you have to become an adult. Start hunting and gathering for yourself. So he says that this baby comes to this world and then he's taken care of. And just the amazing part is how the baby knows to come out. It's pretty an amazing thing. Because the baby could go, okay, I'm going to come from that way. I'm going up. Or going to the side. And then during the first year, he's very weak. But he has two senses that are very strong. Sense of touch and taste. And with those two, he can figure out, he gets his food. He knows who's his mother because he feels her, and then he gets food from the mother. And then he gets into the detail of the nipple of the mother. It's the way that the milk comes out is it doesn't come out too fast that it chokes him. And it's not too hard to get out so that he's simply exhausted, and can't suckle anymore. So that it's made with such precision by the Kadosh Baruch Hu that it's miraculous how the baby is fully taken care of. This is what he talks about. So it's not very difficult for him, but it doesn't just flow out of her without the baby. So that, when the baby needs to nurse, he's like, sorry, got nothing left. And it's not like a faucet that flies across the room. Yes, Saxtine. Are you having a moment? You're smiling, looking at me. I don't know what. I don't know what.
He's thinking about me, Rabbi.
We're talking about breastfeeding, and then you say he's thinking about you. How? I want to understand how that.
He's just always thinking about me, Rabbi.
Well, I saw that. And since the person you wrote a love note last time moved over here, now you're throwing kisses over here.
There's no proof of what he said.
No.
The lights were turned off.
Okay, guys. And as his body gets stronger and stronger, his eyes, his sight, he's able to see colors, hear voices. And what Hashem does, He provides love and rachamim in the heart of his parents for them to take care of him, so that the parents make the child number one priority. Parents are willing to forgo sleep and food and drink in order to provide for this baby. And as it goes against what we would call survival instinct. Right? The instinct of survival is first me. Right? Just like when you go to a buffet, the first thing is I'm filling up my plate. That's it. After that, everybody else. But here, when there's a baby, the Kadosh Baruch Hu makes it as such that the parents are willing to forgo sleep. You don't know what that means yet. But Be'ezer Hashem, you get married and you have kids, you'll see that you sleep when the baby wants you to sleep. If the baby's done and doesn't want to sleep, you don't get to sleep. There was a friend told me the story of there was a man who his wife was very, very tired and she was up all night and she told her husband, listen, I can't get up again for the baby. I need to sleep. So fine. So the husband gets out of bed and the baby doesn't stop crying. And she's waiting and waiting. She gets up because the husband didn't come back. And she goes to the baby's room and the husband isn't there. And the baby's crying. She goes to the living room and she sees the husband laying on the couch with a baby monitor on his chest going, just sound asleep. You think that? You get tired, you get exhausted. But that's something that the chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that allowed us to become adults. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu planted this love of a child in the parents' heart that the parents were willing to sacrifice almost everything for your success. They put up a lot. Shaya, I'm sure you were a cute baby, but you must have been annoying. I'm sure you got stories. Yes, Noam? You want to share a story?
No. I was a problematic little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Seemed like you're such a nice guy.
A kid stole my chicken nuggets in Chabad, and I was kicked out of school for like a day.
Wait a
For what
second.
I'd done
That's,
after that.
Chicken nuggets
first of all, the fact that they offered chicken nuggets in Chabad school, we need to check that out. But you did something to the kid, you mean?
I was a pretty violent kid growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you worked that out. You're not beating up anybody in
No.
yeshiva anymore.
They take my chicken nuggets, maybe.
Is that referring to something when you say chicken nugget? No. It's just, you mean like real chicken nuggets.
Real chicken nuggets.
It's not like a euphemism. Yes?
No, nothing. It's a quite a
You
problematic child.
You were problematic?
Yeah.
I could
One of the
tell.
Teenage years, yeah.
But when you were, no, we're talking about the young. We're not talking about teenagers. Teenagers were all problems. That's the definition of being a teenager. I'll never forget that I had a friend, she passed away. Her son got mad at her. And he said to her, I can't wait till I'm 18 so I can move out. She goes, good, that means I did my job. You're not supposed to want to live here. I thought that was so good. But then there's you. I'm going to go home and see mama. Tov. And the parents are putting up with all of his requests. This is what happens. And they take care of him until he reaches bagrut, right, gets the age of when he's an adult. So now obviously he's talking about when we become teenagers. That's when we become really annoying. L'kol hadeus, everybody agrees with that. The teenagers are annoying. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu will bless you with kids, and you will see your kids as teenagers, as annoying as you were, and then you'll feel exactly like your parents. And you'll say to them things that your parents said to you, and you said, I would never say this to my kids, but you'd say it. They're like, did I just say that? Yep, pretty much. Parenting is doing everything that your parents did differently so that your kid comes out like you. That's what we want. We want our kids to be like us, because we are the model of what? Right? You're not the model? You don't want kids like you? No. What do you want them? Like whom? Like Saxton over here?
Definitely not like me.
Yosef, are you okay? Yeah. No, I'm talking about Yosef in the back. You're good. He was just, the ravioli got to him. Huh? You saw that today? At lunch?
It was good. It was good.
It was very good. It was,
Wow.
we should...
It wasn't that good.
It was very good. It was very good. Listen, no complaints. So, when this kid gets stronger and stronger, he's got better senses, he's got more physical power, he starts developing chokhmah and tvuna, he's got brain now. And he starts making differentiations of different things, and he begins to develop his spiritual nature. And we say that all of that, Ki Hashem iten chokhmah mipiv das u'tvuna. God is the one that provides chokhmah, and das and tvuna, das and bina come from Hashem. And so, he says also, one of the great gifts that Hashem has done for human beings is that when we are young, we don't really have a good intellect, and we don't really differentiate between good and evil. And so, if a person, when he was young, very young, would have those capabilities, he says he would die from worrisome sadness and difficulty because of all the stuff that kids have to deal with. Right? They stole his chicken nuggets. Guy lost it. Went postal. You guys don't know what it means to go postal. You do? They have people go postal in Canada?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're on strike.
Avi, what's going on?
People going postal.
It just means
it's
they go
gotta
nuts.
come through Antarctica. But I know what it means. But I'm saying
What?
it's gotta come through like postal, going postal, right? So it's
We
gotta
have
be
Canada
from the
Post. You have United States Postal Service. Yes, we go postal. We both go postal. Yes,
But you're not part of the United States. You're Canadian.
but we have a post. And it's called the Canada Post.
Canada Post.
It's government owned, like the USPS.
What?
They've been on strike for like 8 years.
Do you guys have a mail service
I have
in?
no clue.
We're not a third.
Where are you from?
I was born in Canada, but I made Aliyah, so I'm Israeli, so you don't have to worry.
Wait, you're from Canada?
I am.
It's the influencer, Rabbi. Very famous.
What does that mean, an influencer?
He's very good. Influences people.
To do what?
Do mitzvahs and learn Torah.
Yeah,
That's literally his whole.
One time a kid came up to me and said that they started to wear tzitzit because I wore tzitzit in the video. That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
You do videos?
Yep.
Okay.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and 100% SNES WhatsApp group.
Were those knees?
No need.
I can see him right here.
Yeah, but this isn't going in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, but I have to see this. I won't be able to get this out of my head.
Okay, I'll come in pants next year.
So the Kadosh Baruch Hu in his wisdom, allows the child to grow. And as the child grows, he gets deeper or more important aspects of his nefesh begin to work. Because if a child was born and he would know what we know as adults, you're never going to get him to sit and play with toys. You're like, what is this? Are you kidding me? Just imagine, somebody like your age who could, you sit him down with, building blocks and like, come on.
Why would he need to play with toys then?
What?
Why would he need to play with toys then?
No, but it would ruin his. He would look at life from a perspective of a 50-year-old and not as a 3-year-old. And he'd be thinking of things and worrying about things that he doesn't have to really worry about. Like kids are pretty happy-go-lucky kind of kids, You give them a piece of candy, in shul, they're ecstatic. They don't have any more problems. But we do. We worry about world peace. We worry about what's going to happen to our brothers and sisters in Israel. We worry about what's happening to our brothers, the soldiers who are fighting. And we worry about Jews all over the world, of the poor rabbi who was kidnapped and murdered for no apparent reason just because he was a Jew. This is the type of, you don't want a 4-year-old saying, I can't really play today. The difficulties for Am Yisrael are too much. They'd be like, hey kid, take it easy. Imagine kid wailing on Tisha B'Av. It's a chesed that the Kadosh Baruch Hu sort of unfolds and allows a child to develop, to become this level. Most kids are not cynics. But we adults become cynical of things. Kids are optimistic. They have joy of life. They enjoy living. You give a kid a balloon, the guy, he's busy for hours. It's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see. But if you think about
My name is Micha. I just got here today. I'm in the Mechina program.
you are?
Yeah. It's really
Okay. First, let's get you a chair.
interrupts then.
You're not interrupting. But usually in Mechina, they don't wear hats.
I like wearing that.
Okay, good. Good. But you don't need to wear it in sheer.
Am I allowed to or right?
No.
I can't wear that.
So remove it.
Like, actually?
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Now it makes your looks nice too. Where are you from?
I currently live in Florida, but I'm originally from Chicago.
Wow, Baruch Hashem. Nachshon is also from Chicago.
Oh yeah, what part?
It's Skokie.
Skokie? Okay, sure. I went to Yeshiva there. I'm from Buffalo Grove.
Nice. And where do you live in Miami?
I just
North?
went to Boynton Beach, which is like next
Yeah.
to Boca.
Good. Baruch Hashem. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So we're taping this. This is in front of a live studio audience. So if you want to see the whole thing, you can watch it on the internet in 2 days. You'll see the whole, and you figure out what should be done. Okay. So we're learning now a sefer called Chovos Halevavos.
Sure.
So, and that's what we're doing. And you're next to Saxteen. He's in charge of Mechina. Any questions you have, speak to this guy. What are you nodding your head no? You don't want any responsibility? You want to be a 3-year-old with a lollipop? I'm giving you some responsibility. With a balloon, you want a kite. He wants to fly a kite. So we see the great chesed that Hashem is doing with just the way that a human being develops, that allows us to develop over time. And as we grow and we get more of our faculties, we start taking on more of what this world needs to work on. And so he says that look at the cry that when a baby cries, that there is a wonderful benefit for a baby to cry, so that it releases certain fluids in their body when they cry, and that also it's an amazing process that he grows teeth one by one, and then those teeth fall, and then he gets new teeth. He says all of these wonderful things in the development of a child, if you look at it and you recognize, for example, there was a daughter has this personal trainer that they work out, whatever, she comes, and she told me something I didn't know. She said, if we had to crawl like babies do, we wouldn't be able to do it. Why? Because our knees, it's hard. And hence when you put it on the floor, it hurts. But babies, it doesn't harden until they're 1 year old. Which means that once they're babies and they start crawling, it's soft. So there's no pressure for them. It doesn't harm them. They can just crawl all over the place. But once they start walking, it starts to get stronger, and therefore now they're done because it's not comfortable anymore. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable little things that you could see from the development of a human being, that we can recognize the chokhmah of the Kadosh Baruch Hu and the great chesed that he does for every Jew. And he says, look at your hands, what your hands can do, and your legs, and your eyes, and your ears, and your nose, and your tongue, and your mouth, and your teeth, and the way that your stomach takes care of, for the most part, takes care of whatever food you put in. And then you don't have to worry about it too much. And how your body gets rid of things that the body doesn't want, right? Without getting into details. We don't need to do a movie. And the heart, how the heart works, and the brain, and your nervous system. This is a book from 1100. It's talking about the nervous system. And that how we are able to reproduce. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking for someone in Messina. I apologize.
They're probably here, hiding.
He took a book of mine, so I'm...
You want to tell me his name?
I don't know his name.
Is it this guy? Okay.
Probably not. I hope not.
So give him his book back. Come on, man. What do you think this is, Azerbaijan? Take stuff and don't return. What are you pointing at, Avia? It's us, sir.
I'm trying to see who it was.
Yes, it's the guy with the broken glasses that
Very likely.
hiding behind the going. I don't see him. Of course not.
The book was Hefker. It's fine.
It doesn't sound like it. He's coming for it.
We gotta talk about this
Anything
Hefker
left out here is
situation.
What?
We have to talk about this Hefker situation. I'm gonna start a lost and found, and there's no more Hefker until like a few weeks pass with it.
What are you talking about?
Everything's going to Hefker. It's just,
Everything is going to Hefker.
that's what chases and flying.
Lost and Hefker instead of lost and found.
Well, maybe you guys need to learn the laws of losing objects, of when something is considered Hefker, and when something is considered not.
I don't see a green sunglasses case.
No, I saw it was Hefker and I took it.
Nice looking one?
With sunglasses inside.
I don't know, it might be. I have a glasses case in my room.
No.
But I don't know whose it is.
Okay, we're not making the 3 o'clock shiur, where you come here. I found this. Anybody?
Well, if anybody found a cover,
We're going once.
just putting it out there.
Well, this is becoming the town square.
I know, it's unbelievable. Tov, let's continue. The way that the blood flows in the body, and gets into this, shows amazing wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. that every organ gets its blood and it circulates, and you get oxygen and nourishment to every part of your body, and then it takes the blood, it flows out, right? It comes in, it's red, it comes out as blue, right? Because it's a sign of oxygen, that it's no oxygen, it's blue. Then it goes into the heart, gets oxygen because it comes from the lung. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you just look at the way that the blood flows in the body, in all of your blood veins. Yes, sir.
Are you like well versed in like the evolution theory?
I'm not a medical physician. I don't do exams. I'm a doctor, but not that kind. I don't use gloves for what I do.
But for evolution,
So
Maybe like with the theories of evolution and scientific findings, and that's a direct contradiction to the Torah views. Like, what do we do with that?
well, it's a little too. Your question's a little too vague. The theory of evolution, there are different theories of evolution, and there are different positions within evolution. If a person says that from observing nature we see that there's a change in the natural order of things, there are changes. So that we can recognize it. We don't have a problem with that. We see that there are changes over time. Yes, there are. And that those changes are determined by food, nutrition, mutations, all sorts of, yes. So I don't think that that's the problem. The issue that we have with theory of evolution, that it says everything all the changes, whether radical, that is forming new species, or little changes that are occurring over time, they're random. That is, they're not guided. That's where we say no. That we believe, and there's ample evidence, that those processes of change are guided by the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Whereas they claim that it's completely random. And there's significant information, there's significant material out there, if you're interested, not from a religious perspective, from pure scientific, has nothing to do with religion, to show that theory of evolution is bad science. It's not a question of whether there is God or no God, or it just, as a model itself, it doesn't work. And I can give you some sources if you're interested, and you can watch them and listen to them. They're readily available, and really you could listen to online to Rabbi Gottlieb has a series on evolution that he goes through what their theories are, what are the different positions, and then starts deconstructing and showing you what the problem is. And essentially, there has been many, many studies by serious scientists and philosophy of science experts that say that the theory of evolution is dead.
That we came from monkeys.
That nobody says that you came from a monkey.
Isn't that taught in schools?
It's not. That's very simplistic. It's not that you came from a monkey, because you came from your mother, and your mother came from her mother. So that at some point, if you go back in the chain of that, there is different strands from apes, not monkeys. Apes, the great apes. So probably chimpanzee is a lot closer than, monkey. But again, I don't want to get into that whole evolution, because his point is that we can recognize by looking at a human being the wisdom of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, the theory of evolution is based upon a concept that rejects the existence of God. It wasn't originally what the position was. Okay? They felt that God is working through this theory that they've discovered. So, but once you claim it's random, then there's no process. It's just random. And that's where the real problem begins. Because there's really no definition of what random is. And simply the math doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. So I can give you some sources on that, but you could also ask Rabbi Gottlieb on Monday when he does a Q&A, or you could listen to his lectures on that if you're really, and then if you need more, I can give you plenty of Thomas Nagel, has a book on that, and he's by no means part of our camp. But he is probably the best evidence today to show that it's not a real serious position. But it's taken to be now, at least in the academic circles, as a religious position. Becomes a whole religion. This is the natural religion, that you believe that there was a big bang and it all sort of kind of flip, and then you have Mr. Cap. Does that make any sense? What? What did he say?
Taxi cab.
The taxi cab?
The cab is a taxi.
Wow. If Dan is from all the way from the back, Dan, he's bigger than you. You have to be careful. He's bigger than you.
You can reduce his time to snap.
I'll take you. You can take it.
I'm gonna take it easy. Come on, don't hurt him.
All right. Okay. בסדר גמור. So, look at the ability to speak. Look how many sounds human beings make. And then we can communicate very complex ideas and transmit them from one person to another. What's wrong? What?
That was a good shot. It's a good shot by Dan.
Saxton's going to back you up if there's any... We got to get those cameras up in the dorms. Yeah, we would. Well, we would have to watch the video of Mr. Chippendales running.
No, we'd have to see if this guy coming in.
Yeah, you want to see that video, Rabbi? It scarred me for life.
You want to do some fundraising for us, and have you put those videos on YouTube? Guaranteed. Make a lot of money.
Not wrong.
Saxton, you look like you want to say something. So he's sitting there with like this.
Say it, Saxty. Say it, Yeshua Moshe. Come on.
So, say that. Say that. We have an ability to produce enormous amount of sounds. Have you ever heard different people speak in different languages that you don't understand? Russian, French, Spanish, Tagalog, Hebrew, right? Most of you don't understand it. Arabic, right? You have Hindi languages. You have all these dialects, Native American languages. We have so many varieties of languages that human beings developed. And the ability of the parts of the body to produce those sounds is unbelievable. What sounds human beings can make. You know that African language that it's amazing.
He understands it.
What? Who understands this? Yeah. Listen, the guy barely understands Aramaic. You want him to understand? That only means get me the banana from the monkey. You know. What?
He thinks Afrikaans people speak black languages.
No, Afrikaans. No. Don't you remember the whole apartheid thing? You don't. You haven't studied.
Canadians did not get educated in Africa.
I was when I was doing my undergrad. This was in a long time ago. In 1994, there was a very, very big earthquake in Los Angeles, and it was in Northridge. And I went to Casa Northridge, so the campus was completely destroyed by the earthquake, and we had classes met by a certain tree. So you went to a tree and you sat around on the ground, and I had a class on South African politics, and the guy was explaining to us, this is how schools are for the blacks in South Africa. They're sitting in a tree and learning. It's a very interesting class about, this whole system of what they were trying to do. I read his biography, the biography.
Is he free to fight out? What do you think?
I'm not, I don't know. Listen, it's been a long time, but it's complicated. It's complicated. It's certainly there's a different situation in South Africa than in Eretz Yisrael in terms of the status. Here we are told that we are the occupiers, but how did the Muslims get here? They conquered it. It's like we are being occupied and we are called occupiers. Like that seems to be a bit of a contradiction, but that's a separate. How much time do we have, Dan? Come on. What are you thinking today? 9 minutes? 3:46. And what time should I be done? 3:55. That's it? What if I want to go till 4:07? No, that's too much. No. That's like, you're out. I'm telling you, if he had the button over here, one more Dan joke. All right, Mr. Taxi, you ready? So, we have the ability to do wonderful things with our vocal cords and lips and tongue and teeth. Singing, right? I mean, something beautiful. It's one of those really rare gifts that when you hear really good singing, when you're on Shabbos table, with everybody's harmony and singing together, it's very powerful. It does something very, very big in us. So he says, if you look at the 4 powers of the body, it's like 4? Yes. You have an ability to intake food. Do you not? Do you put food in your mouth? Yes? Michael says yes. Good. What happens to it after that? I don't know. I just, at that point, chew, swallow, gamarnu. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Right? From that point, that's it. It's done. The machine works on itself. So he says, we have the power to bring the food into the stomach. Then it has a power that allows the stomach to break down what you ate and what we call digest it. And then it takes the nourishment out of whatever is in there. And then whatever isn't needed, it sort of pushes it out of your body. It's unbelievable that it does that. And he said it's similar to a palace of a king, where there are lots of servants who are in charge of this palace, and there's one that is in charge of collecting all the needs of the household and bringing it to the gizbar, to the treasurer, and the treasurer brings it, puts it into the palace, then everything is separated and given to whoever needs whatever they need. And then you get rid of the dirt and the garbage is taken out. It says all of this is what the body does. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And now let's get into what we really are known for. Because animals do that too, right? A gazelle has the same ability to take in food, digest it, and get rid of it, take whatever it needs and move on. Every animal is like that. Even your fellow chickens, right? Until that chicken became a chicken nugget, it was a chicken. It was alive. I wanted to start a farm of growing boneless chickens.
It'll take your entire stock.
What?
How do you grow them?
Oh, that's a whole question. I have to, You have these blobs of have no bones. So we have, just think about this. You have the ability to think, correct? Now we don't always use that. Sometimes we only think after the, ooh, I didn't see that one coming. But we have the ability to think. We have memory. We have something called memory. But we have another gift. It's an unbelievable gift. We have the ability to forget. Yes, we get upset because we don't remember when we learn a Gemara. We don't remember every single word, and we have to see this word 7 times, 8, 20, 30, 40 times until it gets in, and we get frustrated that we forget what we learn. But you also forget all the bad stuff that happened to you. Something are traumatic, and you have to, deal with it a little bit. Lay on a couch and speak to somebody who says, yes, tell me about your mother. That's what I heard, that's what they do. But on the other hand, we do forget. And when we forget things, it makes life easy. So some things we remember, yeah, but a lot of things we forget. And over time, even the memory sort of starts fading. So it's sort of like you might remember the insult and that you didn't like it, but exactly what, and this, and lat, slowly, all the sort of negative feelings are sort of dissipated. So there's a blessing by forgetting. Although we tend to always look at the negative aspect of forgetting, like I forgot where I put my coat.
I knew where I put it.
But it's not there?
It's not there.
Did you put your name in it?
Oh, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's what you're trying to say, that you hefkered it?
Yeah, it's become hefker just because I don't have a name. Like, it was here in Mechina.
Davar she'en bo simen. If it doesn't have a simen.
It's in Mechina, so it's expected that I'm going to come back. It's Mechina.
No.
Yeah, Mechina.
I don't know about that. So, we also have something called busha, embarrassment. Embarrassment. Embarrassment is a very, very important part of who we are. It keeps us in line. Keeps us in line. That's why we don't run around naked. No, you don't agree with that?
I don't want the memories.
You're running around naked?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Oh, well. But we're talking about an adult.
Oh,
You were behaving yourself.
I'm not that far off yet.
Well, you've been an adult since you're 13. Embarrassment keeps us from violating certain social norms. Or not. So when you come to, yeshiva, is sort of, some people let things go. And the more they're familiar with their surroundings, the less and less they're embarrassed. But that's not such a good thing. Maintaining a level of busha protects you against sin. It's a wonderful tool that Hashem has given us. And it's something very interesting, that the less your people are familiar with you, the better your behavior is around them. The more you know people, the more you behave in ways that are... Right? When Cab got here, he didn't put notes, wasn't throwing kisses to people. But now he feels comfortable. So he starts doing things that, really are embarrassing. He wouldn't want, when he comes here with his kid, to show, oh, this is where, it all happened. And one of the rabbis like, oh, yeah, you know what your father did? And he's like, Rabbi.
And Avi wasn't here, Rabbi.
What? What?
Avi wasn't here when I first got here.
He's blaming on me. He just...
Well, I don't want to get yelled at by Dan, so we'll stop here, and then we'll continue on Tuesday.